All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Billy. I'm a spec train. If you're new to the channel, I am a 3-division USPSA GM and a full-time performance shooting instructor. And today, I am very excited about this video. I've got kind of a unique opportunity to actually take a new shooter, a new competitor rather, to the first match. We've talked a lot about on the channel and on the podcast and so forth about competition and how it's one of the best tools for rapid improvement. And when you want to get better at shooting, competition breeds excellence, and it's just a lot of fun as well. But a lot of our content about how to get started and all that kind of stuff is coming from guys like me that have been shooting for a long time, and sometimes it's hard to remember what that process is like actually going through a match for the first time. So this is a really cool opportunity, and I'm actually not just taking anybody to the first match. Kind of a cool opportunity. This is actually my dad, Bob Barton. Thanks so much for doing this. This is the guy that actually taught me how to shoot back in the day. Seems like a billion years ago.
Yes.
But so let's just talk about it a little bit. So I think, Dad, for a lot of people that are interested in getting started in shooting matches, there can definitely be a bit of like an intimidation factor. And some misconceptions in the sense of, hey, I've got to do a whole bunch of training and like really level up my skill set and at least get to where I feel like I'm kind of close to like being able to win the match before I even start, right? So set that stage a little bit. What is kind of your like background or experience level with like shooting pistols?
Yeah.
So obviously an Army vet.
Yeah.
But didn't really shoot pistols at all for that.
No, I got virtually no pistol training whatsoever. I mean, kind of thing where you go out and poke holes in paper, standing on a line, probably with a teacup grip. I don't remember. Right. Right.
Now you have taken what, 3 or 4 probably total classes now?
Yes.
None of which are competitive based though, really. Nothing competition specific. You actually took me to my first class when I was like, I don't know, 19 or something. Yeah. Way back in the day. Yep. And then you've taken a couple like level 1 classes actually for my company over the years.
That's right.
At Spec Train.
That's right.
So a little bit of education, definitely. This is what I always tell people. Like, you definitely need to be at a level where not only like how your gun operates, like load, unload, all that kind of stuff, but be able to like move around a range with a loaded firearm out in your hand like very safely. That's kind of like the minimum level of confidence, and you're like very good at that stuff.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, the only experience I've ever had with that are your drills that you do at the end of a class where you're shooting some steel, running from point to point and so forth. So at least I've done it without falling on my face, but that's about it.
In my estimation, you're very good. You always show excellent muzzle control, all that kind of stuff. And so that's really good. So, but definitely not expecting to like win today or anything like that. It's just going to be a good time. And now we did go, you took advantage of having access to me, I guess, the other day. We actually did go through and run some stage type stuff just in a range environment. Yes. Again, folks, not a requirement. Don't have to do that kind of thing. But if you're a little bit, uneasy about just jumping straight into your first match, there's a couple things you can do, which you've done both of those. Number one, you can just show up and actually watch a match. Yes. Which is cool. Yes. Right? Now, you've showed up and watched a couple matches, actually a couple majors specifically. Yep. Anything there that was really surprising to you or different than what you expected, or anything that you saw there that you feel like is going to be helpful to know ahead of time? Oh, my word. The thing with me, Billy, is I'm still trying to remember to prep my trigger, for crying out loud. Sure. You know what I mean? And so there's so much in the head game of what happens with the rules and the process and the technique. And first time I saw you guys go up and prep yourself in slow motion going through the range with your hands, it's a weird thing to see. Yeah. And so just understanding how that flows is so helpful. And what you did for me the other day, just having me go through it, was just a helpful prep, just to get ready for what might happen and have some idea of what's going down. Yeah. So again, would highly encourage anybody who just wants to see what it's all about, come out and watch a match. You can either do what Dad did, which is come out to like a major event, which is always cool. You can see some super high level shooters getting after it and that kind of thing. Or you can just even show up to your local, monthly little local match or whatever, and you're able to watch how those things go and kind of see through how that process works. Second thing you did, again, was just kind of like taking just a real quick kind of intro look at competitive shooting. Again, we did a little private thing because he has access to me and my resources and so forth. But around the country, like there's typically somebody in most areas that does some kind of like intro to competition type course. I mean, here in my area, my buddy Ike Stearns, I know, does like a great little intro to competition course at an indoor range, on weeknights when people are generally available. Those kind of things are often available. So look out for that kind of stuff if you're looking for some real basic, introduction to how matches kind of work and so forth. And then from there, as long as you're safe and kind of a basic idea of the rules, you're pretty much ready to get started. Now, the other thing that holds people back sometimes is this idea of I need the coolest, fanciest gear. So let's talk through it real quickly. So what gun are you shooting today?
I'm shooting a Glock 19. It's my carry gun.
You're basically stock Glock 19 carry gun, right? Is this like the ultimate competition gun? Maybe not, but it's totally fine. It's a great gun to get started, right? So whatever you guys have will fit somewhere in the rules. Even if you don't know what division is right for you, pretty much show up. Someone help you figure out where to get slotted in and so forth. And you're pretty much good to go in that regard. Don't have like some kind of fancy competition belt. You do have, again, if you're a concealed carry type, you can just run like your normal holster, your normal concealed carry gear. Now in USPSA, all of that is totally good to go. You happen to have still a concealed carry style from tier 1, but holster and mag pouches that are, again, not competition specific. They're designed to like be concealed under, some kind of cover garment, that kind of thing. So you are going to run out to the waistband today, but again, like nothing that you're running today really is competition specific gear at all. I think that's pretty fair to say.
Yep.
And again, you guys will kind of see how that goes a little bit. It's going to be totally fine, and we'll have a good time with that. But I'm super excited to kind of get into it. Basically, there's a couple things that we've already talked about, and you'll kind of see us doing that I think are good to know before you show up to the match. Number one, basically, when you show up to the match, not obviously, but in the rules, you're not supposed to be just handling guns, or especially not loaded guns, anywhere on really match property until you're under the control of that range officer. So when you show up to the match, don't have your gun loaded. You can have it holstered already if you want to, but have your gun unloaded, and typically it'll be bagged, right? So it'll be in your gun bag or in like a little gun sleeve type of thing. And you'll go to the designated safe area to actually put your holster on, put your belt on, and holster that gun. In that safe area, the rules are very simple. You can handle your gun there as long as it's pointed in the right direction, but you cannot handle any kind of ammunition. So whether that is a loaded magazine, whether it's loose ammunition, cannot touch or handle any kind of ammunition in the safe area, but you can handle your gun. When you're outside of the safe area, you can handle ammunition, you can handle anything else you want, but you can't handle your gun, right? So you can't have your gun out of the holster anywhere other than in the safe area until you're under the control of a range officer and they actually tell you to load and make ready, right? The second thing that's really good to know is kind of the process on the stage, right? So when it's your turn, you're the shooter, you'll be asked to come up to the start position, and when you're basically in the start location, you'll be told to make ready. That's when you do have permission to draw your gun. You can take a sight picture if you want, verify your dot brightness, anything in that kind of regard. You can actually dry fire if you want. If you want to rack your slide, press the trigger on target, make sure your grip feels good, all that kind of stuff. Good to go with all that sort of thing. And then when you're ready, you actually go ahead and load your gun, right? Again, however you want to do that. If you want to, Barney up an extra round, whatever you want to do there, load your gun. And then when you're ready, you go ahead and reholster, put your hands in whatever the designated start position is, and that will signify to the range officer that you're ready to begin the stage. At that point, you will hear the question, are you ready? Now, you don't actually have to answer that question. You can say yes or whatever if you want, but you can also, what most competitors will do is just stay silent and stay locked in to whatever the first thing you're going to do on the stage is. And if you don't answer that question, the range officer is going to assume the answer is yes. And at that point, you'll hear stand by, and then you'll hear the beep of the timer, and that is your prompt to go ahead and begin shooting the stage, right? At the end, when you're done, you'll just simply bring the gun back in to some kind of compressed ready or whatever, and the range officer will take note of the fact that you're done and say, if you are finished, unload and show clear. From that point, you'll drop your magazine out, rack the round out of the chamber, and either lock the slide to the rear or hold the slide back long enough that the range officer can actually look into your chamber and see and visually observe that the gun is actually clear. At that point, they'll say, if clear, hammer down and holster. Hammer down is important. This is probably the number one thing that newer shooters will kind of screw up. You need to keep your gun pointed downrange, right, in a safe direction, and actually press the trigger. So if you have an external hammer, the hammer will actually fall. If it's a striker fire gun, you'll just get the dead click. And with that hammer now down, you will then go back into the holster. At that point, the range officer is going to say range is clear, and now you're back under your own control. You're out of the range officer's control, so you're no longer allowed to handle your firearm until the next time the range officer tells you to make ready on the next stage. So that's kind of the basic process, right? Now, what we're doing right now is we are headed to the range pretty early, maybe even a little bit earlier than I intended, but Dad showed up nice and early as he does, which is great this morning. But we're doing this on purpose, which is we're going to go walk our stages, right? So a big thing that's kind of a brand new process, even for very good shooters, when you're not accustomed to shooting competitions, is actually figuring out the stages and figuring out, okay, what is my plan? How am I going to attack these shooting problems on the stage? So nothing too crazy. The max round count on a USPSA stage is 32, so you're going to see something like 16 paper targets on a stage. But you do need to, before you get ready, have an idea of, okay, where are all the targets on the stage? Where am I going to shoot them from? And where are you going to reload? Those are the three main things that I had people start with in the very beginning for stage planning. So we're getting ready to go walk through all the stages before the match even starts. I typically recommend people to show up about an hour early. Not every local match is the same. Some matches are kind of building the match up into the very last second, and not all of the stages will be available. We're going to one right now where the stages were available yesterday. Need to fix my camera a little bit. We're going to one right now where the stages were available yesterday. So that's a great thing. But we're going to show up early, all the stages will be ready, and we're going to walk through all the stages, and again, make sure we know where are all the targets. The way we double check that, hopefully, whatever local you're going to has the stage briefs available. Either printed out on paper, posted somewhere, or in our case, hopefully you got the email as well. We register for it on Practice Score, and you actually get an email the day of the match saying, hey, here's all the stage briefings, here's all the stage descriptions for the match. And a part of that is the round count. Here is how many paper targets, and here's how many steel targets are on each stage. So when you go to Bay 1, and the stage brief says, hey, there's 18, I'm sorry, not 18, but there'll be, 10 paper targets and 2 steel as an example. Well, you need to go find that and count it as you walk around the stage. Obviously, if you only come up with 9 paper targets, you're missing one somewhere. What you may do as well is you find 12 paper targets, and there's only 10. You're like, how'd that happen? Well, you're looking at the same target from more than one place. That's very easy to do on the stage as well. So we're going to use that round count to make sure we're actually finding all the targets on the stage. We know where we are, know where they are, and then we're simply going to plan out, okay, where on the stage are we going to shoot those targets from? And as we count each position, how many rounds we're going to spend, we'll make sure we know where we're going to reload as well, just so we have those very basic elements of the stage plan as a part of our process, right? This process is going to change for you a lot as you shoot more matches and that kind of thing. I'm obviously, looking at those stage plans from a perspective of trying to milk every little bit of efficiency and performance out of it I possibly can. Don't worry about all that in the very beginning, right? You just need to know where the targets, have a plan on where you're going to shoot them from, where you're going to reload, so that you're not totally lost on the stage. Something you can execute according to your capability level and also do safely. That's kind of the main things, right? So that's what we're headed out to do right now, and we'll probably show you a little bit of that. Okay, wrist below belt straddling start stick, right there in the middle. Gun loaded and holstered. We're looking for 3 steel, 10 paper, for a total of 23 rounds. Best 2 per paper. So, let's have a look. We've got some stuff down here. There's your steel. targets all through here. We got targets there. Three steel. Okay. So.
You gotta back up?
Yeah, so almost certainly what you're gonna wanna do. Start here straddling the stick.
Yep.
Right? We're gonna draw as we move back. Now, of course, what you don't want to do here is like turn and draw, obviously. Right. So you have to keep your hips downrange, but you're gonna draw, come in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got those 3. Come over here, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
That's a no hit, okay.
So that's 12 rounds.
Okay.
Probably reload here.
Okay.
Reload. And what I would probably do...
You already hit that one, right?
Not that one. We hit that one.
Okay.
But not that one.
Okay.
So we could come in on that one probably. That would be 13, 14. And you see how there's one right here you can only see from way over here.
Yeah.
15, 16.
Shoot from here?
Yes.
Okay.
Steel. Where are we at? I think we said 16, right? So 17, 18, steel.
Those little blue things are steel?
Yes.
I gotta hit those?
You gotta hit those.
From here?
Yes, sir.
Ain't no way.
Yeah, you'll do fine.
Okay.
18, all right? 19, 20. And then I'll come over here. Blue steel, 21, 22, 23. On the paper. So that's 23 rounds.
That's a mag.
Yeah, we'll get that in a second.
Okay.
We don't even want you to have mags right now. Let's take that. We'll go to the safe area. And we'll get you all
You're not bringing your stuff?
gunned up.
You're not bringing your stuff?
Not just yet.
Okay.
I'm going to get it in a second.
Okay.
We're just getting you gunned up right now.
Okay. Alright.
So this is our kind of janky safe table situation.
Man is used to carrying this.
You got to be standing inside the box.
Yep.
It's like not where you are there.
Yep.
On the table.
Yep.
So hopefully when you pull this out, your gun's pointed that way.
Yep.
When it comes out of the bag, we'll see how it's situated in there. Okay, so what I would do is, like, ideally, put that back in there for right now.
Okay.
So it was this way.
Yeah.
We're good right now.
Yeah.
But ideally, like, if I opened my bag and it was like that,
right.
I would turn my bag.
I got you.
Right, so that it's actually pointed this way.
Okay.
And now you can go ahead and grab it.
Okay.
And what I would do now is, yeah, go ahead and just triple check.
Yep.
I would go ahead and drop your hammer and holster. And you're good to go.
Okay.
So quick explanation.
Okay.
I screwed up and we're here at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a little bit different of a first match experience. Dad's getting like the private VIP concierge first match experience here. The two of us are just going to run through most of this because we have to get out of here at a certain time. And the match director is kind of accommodating us. You're just going to see us two running around doing stuff, but you're still going to kind of see what some first stage runs look like, and we'll kind of talk through things as they happen. Cool?
Sounds good.
Are you ready? Stand by. If you are finished, unload, show clear. If clear, hammer down and holster. Range is clear. Time is 39:69. First stage ever. How'd it go?
You know, I didn't do well on the steel like I thought. Besides that, it was marginal.
Yeah, some of that steel might just be like a little bit outside your range.
Yep.
Okay, now if we look at this one here. Oh no, 2 alpha, never mind. Very good, so I got 1 Charlie on this side so far. 2, 3 Charlie, 2 alpha. That's 4 Charlies. Five Charlies. Okay. 5 Charlie, 2 Mike. So you're going to shoot everything once, reload, shoot everything once again.
Okay.
So you're going to want to get as far up as you feel good. You know, like in this neighborhood somewhere.
Yeah.
Is where you're going to start.
Yeah.
Just shoot one on this,
yeah.
Shoot one on that. Probably.
You're going to shoot moving forward?
I will, but you should probably just run up. Because again,
one each.
One each.
One each, okay.
Then stand here.
Yeah.
Reload.
Reload.
Shoot everything once again. Now you got to run back. So let's think about this. Don't do that. Don't do gun up and try to go like this.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You can either whatever feels better. You can either come off this one and go this way.
Yeah.
Or you can come off this one and go this way.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely doing the other way. Okay.
So if that's the case, you know, the way you shot it's probably right. After the reload, shoot right to left, so that you can come like this.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Ready when you are.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Good.
Don't do that, Bob.
All right, so we are wrapped up.
We
At
are.
home, you got the private one-on-one first match experience. I kind of love it. It was a great way. I had a great time running through the match. Obviously, I kind of wish you'd gotten the whole like squad experience and been able to see some other people at different levels shoot and all that kind of thing. But we'll do it again sometime. Regardless, maybe we'll do a follow-up video or something. How'd it go? Obviously, you've seen matches before. We talked about that, so presumably nothing too super surprising about how everything was. But how did it go? What was it like?
Yeah, no, it was a ton of fun. You know, I love the way the creativity they used to set up these particular stages, and that was just great. You know, nothing was really too standard, and I thought that was a lot of fun and great to have to go through the mental gymnastics of thinking through that and so forth. It was a blast.
We threw you into the deep end going to go shoot for sure for our first match. Super high level stages, very technical stuff, some pretty difficult shooting. But to your point, always interesting stages. We got on one stage and I didn't read the stage briefing as thoroughly as I should have, and I was immediately like, this can't be all this is. Like, there's just no way. I just knew it. This is not nearly interesting enough. And then we reread it, and it completely changed it. But yeah, so great stages before, or for sure. Some pretty difficult shooting. There was obviously lots of movers at this match, so lots of like swingers and stuff on pretty much every stage. You pretty much managed to get 2 on, I think, pretty much all the swingers. Was that how'd you feel with the swingers? Was that easier, harder than you expected, or?
Yeah, it was. It's harder. You know, yeah. What I got, I almost felt lucky.
Sure. That's how it is when you start a lot of times. Just like, I'm just trying to get 2 on brown somewhere.
That's
right?
exactly right. Yes.
For sure. And then Chris loves those small little, I think they're like 4 or 6 inch square plates, out at distance, of course, not not up close either. So struggled on some of those a little bit.
Yep.
So that could be, you know, again, we're always talking about taking homework home from the match, right? What are the biggest things to work on? Maybe some being able to settle down a little bit, work that trigger prep piece like you talked about. On some of that distance, more precise shooting might be a decent piece of homework. What else are you taking home in terms of stuff you might want to work on?
So I'm still in the place, Billy, where on my draw, it takes me too long to find my dot.
Yeah.
So I just need to do some more dry fire on the draw. I felt that the grip build was, from my strong hand, was okay.
Yeah.
I often forget to crush the gun with my support hand like I should.
Yeah.
And at times, when you're thinking about a lot of different things, I'm forgetting to prep the trigger. And so all of that leads to some stray shots that shouldn't be there. Those were two or three key points with my shooting that really came to mind.
Love it. Yeah. So, this is obviously going to be an old concept to you, but something we've heard about for decades, even in the self-defense world, right? Man, you can't be consciously thinking through all those little things at the same time while you're doing problem solving behind the gun as well, right? So that's one of the great things that's really tested at a match, where you're handed higher pressure situations, longer, more dynamic, more complex courses of fire that really are gonna burn some of that mental bandwidth, right? Give you stuff to think about while you're shooting and see, hey, is the shooting running on autopilot for you or not, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that can really show. That's a great thing to mention, right? So just continue to rep out and program in those, really we think of them as basic, but the core, like, most important fundamentals at that deeper level, right?
Well, you're so right. I mean, things just slip through the cracks. And what's funny is to find out what slips through the cracks.
Right.
Like the other night when you took me out to try to prep me for what this would be like, there was a no-shoot.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we talked about the no-shoot before I ran through it first. Maybe we did. But I came right around that corner, and that front white target looked so nice. I drilled a couple holes right into it. You explained.
Right in the face, really.
Right in the face.
Yeah.
You explained it was a no-shoot, and I said, okay, let's try it again. Came right around the corner to the exact same thing. And it just, the brain couldn't keep it all going at once. Today, I was transitioning from one shooting area to another, and I didn't even realize till after I was done that you told me I shot 2 or 3 targets between the 2 shoot areas. I was in no man's land, and I didn't even realize I had done that.
Yeah, and that's, it's funny, you get that, especially when you start, sometimes you get that little bit of adrenaline dump, when you go to run the stage, and it's like, I remember that still to this day when I used to shoot stage to get done, and you're like, wait, what just happened? What did I even do? Like, it's almost like it just black out.
Yeah.
Like when you're shooting.
Literally, yeah.
And yeah, so learning just kind of deal with that pressure and to actually shoot, with an elevated heart rate, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, not replicating a gunfight in any way, shape, or form, but learning to shoot under some stress and some pressure is maybe one of the best ways to do it that a lot of us civilians have access to. So, pretty cool.
And I really, I like what you said at the beginning today when you were talking about some gun handling skills. One of the things that you don't want to slip through the cracks is breaking on 180 rule, muzzle discipline. And so I am thankful that I have enough under my belt that that's not a real big issue for me. But even with some of this complicated moving, I think there was one time today that you even gave me a caution about my muzzle. And so I'm glad that that's not a big concern I have to be thinking about, because I'm used to that. But yeah, a lot of other stuff to keep on your mind.
Yeah, it's one of the unfortunate things. Anytime you have a sport or turn this stuff into a game, there's gonna be rules that we have to come up with that are not the same as if you're training for defensive stuff, right? So, out on the range, when if I'm on our own property or at a normal class range or whatever, do I have any problem like running up range with my gun like pointed down or whatever? Like, no, that's totally fine, totally safe. Can't do that in a match, right? You got to keep the gun pointed down range at all times. So a couple of those things that even if you are very safe and in control of the gun, like, you're going to have to learn that are kind of specific to the range environment, right? So that's all that little warning was about. Got a little bit close there, but I think we were good. So awesome first match. Hopefully for folks watching at home, maybe you're considering shooting your first match. That gives you a little bit of kind of context and understanding of what kind of a match looks like a little bit. That it's okay to not be the greatest shooter in the world when you're showing up shooting your first match. I already said the match is not done yet. Dad is not last at his first match ever. I think that sometimes people are like afraid of that. That like, oh, everybody that shoots these matches is just like some, super duper, gun guy, right? And it's like, nope. There's, I didn't actually recognize the names of the guys that you beat at this match, but a lot of times it's guys that have been shooting a match every weekend for 20 years.
Yeah.
They just don't necessarily take training super seriously or getting better super seriously, and that's fine. If you just want to come out, it's a social event for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Come out, have fun, shoot. No one's going to look down on you if, you're shooting some mics or aren't running on the stage super fast or kind of uncomfortable in certain spots. Like that's part of the game. We all started in the same place. And again, there's a lot of people that come out every weekend and aren't necessarily trying to even get better, they're just having fun, and that's part of it, and it's totally cool. So, hope that's helpful for folks again that might be considering shooting your first match or taking somebody to your first match. Man, just don't worry about trying to train or get some kind of crazy gear or whatever to like a super high level. Just go out and shoot, man. Have fun. You'll learn a lot more very quickly about what training you should be doing. Right? What are the things you actually need to work on to get better? And if you do want to tweak some gear stuff, like your belt or your holster or whatever, you'll have a way better context for, what's actually important, what's not, what held you back, what didn't. And you can make those decisions if you decide it's something that you want to stick with and, kind of do seriously. So.
Well, man, thanks so much. It was great. Really appreciate you taking the day to do this with me. It was awesome.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you coming out, and we'll see you guys in the next one.